All right, we're back to more James and the Giant Peach, and when we left off, the travelers on the peach had just been sprayed down by a bunch of water from the cloud giants. The cloud giants were angry at them, and the centipede's paint got all washed him. So now he's freed, and he sang a song about that. So now on chapter 31. How fast we are going all of a sudden, the ladybird said. I wonder why. I don't think the seagulls like this place any better than we do, James answered. I imagine they want to get out of it as soon as they can. They got a bad fright in that storm we've just been through. Faster and faster flew the seagulls, skimming across the sky at an enormous pace, with the peach trailing far out behind them. Cloud after cloud went by on either side, all of them ghostly white in the moonlight, and several more times during the night the travelers caught glimpses of cloudmen moving around on the tops of these clouds, working their sinister magic upon the world below. Once they passed the snow machine in operation, with the cloudmen turning the handle and a blizzard of snowflakes blowing out of the great funnel above. They saw the huge drums that were used for making thunder, and the cloudmen beating them furiously with long hammers. They saw the frost factories and the wind producers and the places where cyclones and tornadoes were manufactured and sent spitting down towards earth. And once, deep in the hollow of a large billowy cloud, they spotted something that could only have been a cloudmen's city. There were caves everywhere running into the cloud, and at the entrances to the caves the cloudmen's wives were crouching over their little stoves with frying pans in their hands, frying snowballs for their husbands' suppers. And hundreds of snowmen's children were frisking about all over the place and shrieking with laughter and sliding down the billows of the cloud on toboggans. So a toboggan is a type of sled. An hour later, just before dawn, the travelers heard a soft whooshing noise just above their heads, and they glanced up and saw an immense gray, bat-like creature swooping down towards them out of the dark. It circled around and around the peach, flapping its great wings slowly in the moonlight and staring at the travelers. Then it uttered a series of long, deep, melancholy cries and flew off again into the night. Oh, I do wish morning would come, Miss Spider said, shivering all over. It won't be long now, James answered. Look, it's getting lighter over there already. They all sat in silence, watching the sun as it came up slowly over the rim of the horizon for a new day. And there's the bat-like creature swooping over them. And I don't think we're ever going to figure out what it is. There's the peach and the seagulls and the bat-like creature and the enormous clouds of the cloudmen. Chapter 32. And when full daylight came at last, they all got to their feet and stretched their poor cramped bodies. And then the centipede, who always seemed to see things first, shouted, Look, there's land below. He's right, they cried, running to the edge of the peach and peering over. Hooray! Hooray! It looks like streets and houses. But how enormous it all is! A vast city, glistening in the early morning sunshine, lay spread out 3,000 feet below them. At that height, the cars were like little beetles crawling along the streets, and the people walking on the pavements looked no larger than tiny grains of soot. Oh, what tremendous tall buildings! Exclaimed the ladybird. I've never seen anything like them before in England. Which town do you think this is? This couldn't possibly be England, said the old green grasshopper. Then where is it? Asked Miss Spider. You know what those buildings are, shouted James, jumping up and down with excitement. Those are skyscrapers. So this must be America. And that, my friends, means that we have crossed the Atlantic Ocean overnight. You don't mean it, they cried. It's not possible. It's incredible. It's unbelievable. Oh, I've always dreamed of going to America, cried the centipede. I had a friend once who— Be quiet, said the earthworm. Who cares about your friend? The thing we've got to think about now is how on earth are we going to get down to earth? Ask James, said the ladybird. Oh, I don't think that should be so very difficult, James told them. All we have to do is cut loose a few seagulls. Not too many, mind you, but just enough so that the others can't quite keep us up in the air. Then down we shall go, slowly and gently, until we reach the ground. Centipede will bite through the strings for us, one at a time. Chapter 33. Far below them, in the city of New York, something like pandemonium was breaking out. Pandemonium is like craziness, chaos. A great round ball, as big as a house, had been sighted hovering high up in the sky over the very center of Manhattan, and the cry had gone up so that it was an enormous bomb sent over by another country to blow the whole city to smithereens. So the people in New York are looking up and seeing the peach, and they think it's a bomb. So is this going to be good for the people on the peach? Well, James and his friends? Probably not. Air raid sirens began wailing in every section. All radio and television programs were interrupted with announcements that the population must go down into their cellars immediately. 1 million people walking in the streets on their way to work looked up into the sky and saw the monster hovering above them. So what's the monster? Yeah, you're right, it's the peach. And they started running for the nearest subway entrance to take cover. And that's what it looks like to them. And I guess if we were down there in the streets and we saw that, we would be scared too. Generals grabbed hold of telephones and shouted orders to everyone they could think of. The mayor of New York called up the President of the United States down to Washington, D.C. and asked him for help. And the President, who at that moment was having breakfast in his pajamas, quickly pushed away his half-finished plate of cornflakes and started pressing buttons right and left to summon his admirals and his generals. And all the way across the vast stretch of America, in all the 50 states, from Alaska to Florida, from Pennsylvania to Hawaii, the alarm was sounded, and the word went out that the biggest bomb in the history of the world was hovering over New York City, and that at any moment it might go off. Now, is there really a bomb? No, you're right, it's the peach. Chapter 34. Come on, Centipede, bite through the first string, James ordered. The centipede took one of the silk strings between his teeth and bit through it. And once again, but not with an angry cloudman dangling from the end of the string this time, a single seagull came away from the rest of the flock and went flying off on his own. Bite another, James ordered. The centipede bit through another string. Why aren't we sinking? We are sinking. No, we're not. Don't forget the peach is a lot lighter now than when we started, James told them. It lost an awful lot of juice when all those hailstones hit it in the night. Cut away 2 more seagulls, Centipede. Ah, that's better. Here we go. Now we really are sinking. Yes, this is perfect. Don't bite any more, Centipede, or we'll sink too fast. Gently does it. Slowly the great peach began losing height, and the buildings and streets down below began coming closer and closer. Do you think we'll all get our pictures in the newspapers when we get down? The ladybird asked. Oh, my goodness, I have forgotten to polish my boots, the centipede said. Everyone must help me to polish my boots before we arrive. Oh, for heaven's sakes, said the earthworm. Can't you ever stop thinking about your... But he never finished the sentence, for suddenly, whoosh! And they looked up and saw a huge 4-engined plane come shooting out of a nearby cloud and go whizzing past them not more than 20 feet above their heads. This was actually the regular early morning passenger plane coming into New York City from Chicago, and as it went by, it sliced right through every single one of the silken strings. And immediately the seagulls broke away, and the enormous peach, having nothing to hold it up any longer, went tumbling down towards the earth like a lump of lead. Help! Cried the centipede. Save us! Cried Miss Spider. We are lost! Cried the ladybird. This is the end! Cried the old green grasshopper. James! Cried the earthworm. Do something, James! Quickly, do something! I can't, cried James. I'm sorry. Goodbye. Shut your eyes, everyone. It won't be long now. And that, my friends, is a cliffhanger. And I will end there. I wonder how they're going to survive this with the Peach no longer attached to the seagulls plummeting to New York City. All right, bye.